So I want to talk about what is an executive MBA. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Maslach. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor forward to help you out. So I actually created the sharing economy editing platform. That's what reciprocity.com is. The E is written with a 3. Go check it out. Trying to build this thing out. Go buy credits, all that kind of stuff. That would be so helpful if you benefited from any of this kind of stuff. So, all right. So in terms of an executive MBA, what do I think about them? So first of all, I don't have a dog in the fight. We don't have an executive MBA program at my institution. We have an MBA program, but there is no executive MBA, and this is just from afar. I never took an executive MBA program, but I know what they're about, and I think that they actually serve pretty good value, right? So I view different degrees in terms of serving different needs. And I don't necessarily think that there is a true degree or true best degree for everybody. There's some that provide a great deal of value. I think an MBA, executive MBA, and those kind of areas, they actually provide a tremendous amount of value for what you actually get, right? So they tend to be very, very useful to to do things with, because that they financially there tends to be a return from them, but also you learn a lot, and you get a good group of people and all those kind of things, right? So that's a super important aspects of it that I think are really beneficial. And there is a lot of work that's spent on these things. So an executive MBA tend to be they're pretty common now across most institutions. Most top tier institutions have some sort of executive MBA, and it's really just looking at, so how this would have evolved is that an MBA program would be for those that are just coming out after a couple of years after an undergrad, a master's of business administration, and they would take this degree and go and advance their career. But an executive MBA is usually targeted for somebody that has it's more likely that they have like 10 years experience once they're done, and so they don't necessarily fit within the sort of younger group, right? They just see the world differently. They have a lot more experience. You can carry on a conversation a little bit more in terms of all these different sort of aspects of it, and it's going to be targeted towards those groups that are more in the basically the 30 to 40-year-old group, where they're at a moment where they're like, okay, we can really bump it up. I'm already a manager, right? That's kind of where they are. They're already a manager. They kind of work their way up, and they're like, okay, what does it mean to be an executive manager at that moment, or to go into the C-suite, right? And what does that take to actually get there? So it kind of trains you to get into that area. So a lot of the material, I'm going to tell you this, a lot of the material is going to be similar to what you get in an undergrad. It's going to be similar to the MBA, and it's going to be some of the stuff might be somewhat similar to what you'd get in a PhD. But what you're looking to realize is that you have this sort of core group of people that have a lot more experience. The questions are probably going to be a lot more targeted. They're not going to be kind of going off in different directions and tangents, although people do that kind of stuff. That's normal, right? But what you're looking for is to advance your career, to do something in the C-suite. So it's going to be tends to be a lot more hands-on, because everybody knows their crap at the end of the day. They really know their stuff, and they're working on problems that are a lot more like they need to solve these problems, right? That's what you should sort of view this as, like, okay, you got this big problem. Either sort of advancing your career is the problem, or maybe in your company you already have this problem that's you're really trying to you're stuck with, and you want to solve this thing, but you don't know what to do. So then you go and get an executive MBA. So you learn sort of ways to solve the different tricks that you might experience, right? And it's not only the professor sort of professing things that you're going to learn that way. If you don't know, MBA programs tend to be a heck of a lot more interactive, like way more interactive. In fact, that's sort of built into the different programs, that they have to be a lot more interactive. So you share, other people share, So you're learning as much. Ideally, you should be learning as much from everybody else around you as you do from the professor in the material that you read and stuff like that. They tend to be a lot more shorter, so they tend to be as condensed as possible because everybody's busy, and so they might be targeted towards weekends or something like that, or evenings and those kind of things. They are really expensive. They tend to be, right? So if you think of the business case from a business school, they're going to be marketing to you and making you sort of pay more money. They want to bring more revenue in. That's the whole name of the game, right? But ultimately, they want to provide you value, right? So the value should be evident once you're actually done. And most people, I think, most people would say once they do it that there was value that they gained from it, right? Like it would be worth the degree. I think you're going to be hard pressed to actually find many people, like a solid group of people that took an executive MBA or MBA, and they said that it wasn't worth their time. Anybody that says that is not worth their time, they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't taken the degree. They're really like kind of clueless, and they're going to be from the outside in, and they're really just. I'm honest. They're really clueless. They don't get what it's about. And once you actually take it, you go through it, you're going to realize that it's actually pretty valuable. Almost everybody does. So otherwise, why would we have the degree, right? Why? Okay, so which one, what degree should I choose? For me, if I was, I would do an executive MBA if I was at a stage where I'm a pretty high up there, but not quite high up there, right? Like sort of mid to more senior level management, kind of at that stage, and you have a pretty good, you have a pretty good experience, like long enough that it doesn't make sense to be grouped with people that have a couple of years experience or 5 years experience. And then what I would look for good institutions, good solid institutions. Usually if you're looking for saving money, and that's okay, that's actually really good. I encourage you to do that. Look for institutions that are within your state that offer it, that are good solid institutions that everybody knows, that are well recognized, that they do carry value in the marketplace. That's the important thing, is that because they're so lucrative, these degrees tend to be so lucrative, there's like kind of like almost, predatory institutions. I'm not going to say, any names, but there's institutions that sort of want to get into the space. And they might not necessarily net the same value as somebody that is, or an institution that has the brand name that's been around for a long time, that sort of built that brand name does matter, because it attracts people. The market understands it, all those kind of things. So what you're looking for is not necessarily like a general thing, but probably to advance your career, right? So looking for, specific to your career where it makes sense for what you're doing, right? If you're a healthcare industry, look for, executive MBAs in a healthcare space, or that have a good teaching hospital nearby that might be able to add, those kind of things. That's important. Or the tech industry, go to where there's, techie people. That's going to add value, right? And that's going to be really important. So hopefully this helps you out. Give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care, and have a wonderful day. All right, bye.